vinyl products, as well as a wide range of other printing services. This includes stickers, labels, magnets, business cards, flyers, posters, and even shirts and garments. For more information, you can check out their website at www.harlerprintco.com. The link will be in the description. Now on to the show. Hey y'all, welcome to Tuddies and Buddies, a daily Double Down Network podcast. I am Cody, and joining me today is the co-host,
Nady.
How you doing, Nate? How's your day been?
Exhausting, once again.
I feel ya. So today we are bringing you guys our AFC North players that they need to abandon, someone they need to cut. We're going to go through each team, and we're both going to give you guys a selection of a player who we think needs to go. We need to say bye-bye to. So what team you want to start off with, Nate?
I want to hear what you think of the Browns, actually.
Okay, so I have three, two of which are free agents, so doesn't really matter. First of all, we need to move on from Kareem Hunt and Jadeveon Clowney. My third option was John Johnson III, but Andrew Berry has already announced that he's releasing him on March 15th, so that doesn't matter. So I actually have a player not a lot of people know about, Joe Haig.
You want to know something funny?
What?
I had him too.
Yeah, dude. Okay. I'm pulling it up. I'm pretty sure he's getting paid like $2 million a year for a backup.
Yeah, if you cut him, you would save $2 million. So
Yeah,
that would just be a good cut overall, just to save some cap room.
Yeah, this year we're paying him $2.5 million. So I think we should get rid of him.
Is there anybody else you would think about getting rid of?
Who else would I get rid of? There's a few guys that I might get rid of. Let me pull it up real quick.
Because just looking at the list I had, you could possibly get rid of like Grant Delpit or Jakeem Grant. Would be two players you could get rid of, depending on like when you guys release them and how productive you feel like they might be for your team.
Well, Grant Delpit, like he's a productive player. I'm pulling up his stats from last season. He had 4 picks this past season. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of partial to him. He didn't put up like awful numbers, but he didn't put up the greatest numbers either.
Yeah, and you guys don't have horrible safeties, and you could probably find somebody better, probably in the draft, depending on what guys you like. 'Cause, you do have like a Brian Branch or a safety out of Texas A&M. So Grant Delpit could be an option, but like you said, he was productive. He's young, and you wouldn't really be saving that much.
Yeah, we still have him on his rookie deal. He performed well. Like I said, we were the number 1 passing defense in the league this past season. And we cut our weakest string, which was John Johnson III. He's done for, so see you later. And we're already in talks. We're talking to Jesse Bates to sign him to like a 2-year deal right now. So if we sign Jesse Bates, yeah, maybe draft someone deeper. Like I think I have them going for a safety in like the 4th round out of I think it was South Carolina. Here, I can pull it up and see who I have for them.
And while
if you guys do, just one second. If you guys do want to see our my picks for all the Browns draft, for all of the Browns draft picks, you guys can go to our website, and I have a full mock draft for the Browns up. Yeah, I have them picking up Christopher Smith out of Georgia in the 4th round.
Mm.
But
Um, Surprisingly, that's not ringing a bell, but I would assume, coming off that Georgia defense, that he's fairly well taught. So
yeah, that Georgia defense was nasty. He was the safety. Remember that 95-yard return that Georgia had off of a blocked field goal?
vaguely,
Yeah, he was the one who had the heads up play to like leave the ball on the ground, pick it up and go.
uh huh.
Yeah, so he's really smart on his feet. He's a little small, but he's fast and he's smart, so I'll take him.
Absolutely. Another guy that I was looking at was Jakeem Grant, as y'all are paying him $2.6 million, and he, based off of PFF, he hasn't put up much of anything. And he's a 30-year-old wide receiver that if you release him, you'll save $2.5 million.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about it. Like, if we release him, we need to sign or trade for another wide receiver, because then we only have 2 wide receivers with any real experience. Like, Anthony Schwartz is not a good receiver, and
Yeah, I mean, I would just say go look into the draft, because you guys have a 2nd round, 3rd round. There's a bunch of good depth wide receivers that you could add that could be a good 3rd option until they grow and learn into, being a full-fledged starter.
have I told you about the boy out of Princeton?
Yes. I don't remember his name, but I watched him during the Senior Bowl. He looked okay to me. He wasn't as physical as I would like for his size, but he had good hands, and I really enjoyed watching him during the Senior Bowl game.
Yeah, but do you know what his 40 is?
That I do not know off the top of my head.
He runs like a 4.26 40. And he's like 6'3", 216 pounds. So he has the size to be a wideout, but he has the speed to be a slot.
Yeah, but I just didn't see the route running from him, at least at this point in his career. I didn't really see the route running to make him a super effective player, especially in the slot. Like, if you put him out wide and you let him kind of body wide receivers, throw the ball away from his body so he can use those strong hands, that would have been a great option.
Yeah. Yeah. But let's move on. Let's hit another team. We are running really long on the Browns already. Who do you want to go to next?
Let's go look at the Ravens.
Okay. So who do you have them releasing?
I would really want to say Calais Campbell. As much as he's been a very productive player with them, he's really up there in age, and I think he would save $6.5 million or so releasing him.
Yeah.
And I could justify releasing, I think he's 37 years old at this point in his career. Let's go see.
I think so. I'm looking it up right now.
36.5, yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely that's my second pick was Calais Campbell. They're paying him too much. He doesn't have the production that he used to have. He's just not nearly as good anymore.
Yeah, I would say if they could restructure that, I would just say that would be a great option. Then outright cut him, but I can't really justify the $6.5 million right now when you are on the verge of losing your star quarterback.
And I mean, they don't have a shortage at the interior D-line position. They have 7 interior D linemen. So cutting Calais Campbell is probably one of the better moves.
Yeah, I would have to agree on that one.
Someone else that I was really thinking into, Marcus Peters.
Marcus Peters.
Yeah,
Really?
the cornerback. Yeah, see, okay. he's getting up there in age. He's 30 years old. His defense grade was 65.9. He was 49th out of all the cornerbacks. And, I don't know exactly how much they're paying him, but I'm pretty sure it was a pretty penny.
Let's go see. Because I don't know his cap off the top of my head.
Yeah, he signed a 3-year, $42 million contract.
Yeah. I mean, if you released him this year, you would be saving what approximately like 10 mil, I think.
A little more
Off
than
of that,
10 mil, yeah.
I could justify that, but I don't think that would be something that they would do at this time. Just because corners are kind of lacking. There's not a lot in the draft, or a lot in the free agency. The draft, you could find a couple players, but nobody who's still gonna match Peter's ability to play right now.
Well, he wasn't even the best corner on their team. With Marlon Humphrey was their top cornerback, and then you have people like Kevin Seymour, and in the secondary you have Kyle Hamilton out at safety. And Kyle Hamilton was ranked the top safety out of all of them, out of all safeties this year.
I see. Yeah, I mean, you make a valid point on there, but I was looking at a different player on the Ravens who was like a linebacker safety type of player, and it was Chuck Clark.
Yeah, I think Chuck Clark kind of needs to get. I mean, I'm not sure about Chuck Clark. Like, he could play safety, but he really he needs to be a linebacker. But they already have that, like, patched up with Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen. So I don't see there being a place on the team for Chuck Clark,
Yeah, you point out the real big issues that there isn't a real spot for him. Because, I mean, you have Kyle Hamilton and Marcus Williams at safety. And you can't really move him down to linebacker unless you make a special package for him, essentially, to play as that third safety or a nickel linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, I could see he would be a good third down player, but other than that, what, are you really gonna pay him just to play third downs? It's like the thing with Jadeveon Clowney. It's like, we're not gonna pay you to play third down, so you're just not gonna play.
Yeah, that's totally understood, and I mean, maybe that'll be something that they'll do. And I mean, if Chuck Clark hits the market, I mean, I would like to maybe see him come to New Orleans, but that's a different tangent.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I would love to see him in he's not a bad player. I'm not gonna say he's a bad player at all. He's a good ball player. He just doesn't have a spot on this team, in my opinion, either.
Yeah, you have to fit a role. I mean, he could be a special teamer with that third down ability, but, you still don't want to pay somebody $4 million to do that.
Yeah. So, with that being said, let's move on to the Steelers.
The Steelers. Let me pull my guy up real quick. I got a couple guys, if I'm going to be real honest with you, because they are not good.
No, I have a couple too.
One of my big guys would be Mitch Trubisky.
You think they need to cut him?
Yes, he's making $8 million to be a backup. That doesn't fly in anybody's pocketbook or any team's philosophy.
I mean, you're not wrong. I'm not going to fight you on that at all. First of all, Mitchell Trubisky is dog water. He's awful. But Mason, what they're going to have Mason Rudolph as their backup to Kenny Pickett. they're not going to have their quarterback is that's their strongest quarterback is Mitch Trubisky.
I do not agree with that. He is.
You think
not a
Pickett's
good
better?
quarterback. I think Pickett gives them a better opportunity to win. Not that he's better than Mitch, but Kenny gives the Steelers a better opportunity.
Yeah, he does. He definitely gives them much better opportunity to win. Holy crap, how many running backs do they have?
A lot.
7 running backs.
Yeah, and just wait until after the draft. Everybody's going to probably have 10 running backs on the roster, and we're going to have to cut all those guys.
Yeah, it's going to be incredibly sad. But, I mean, I know I've said this many a time before. Najee Harris got to go. He's not that good.
I'm going to keep on saying Najee's a okay running back, and let the ball player play.
Okay, he's okay. He is ranked 27th out of all the running backs. So it's not like he's awful, but he's just kind of like right there at the middle of the pack when he was expected to be the next Derrick Henry.
And, he might have a good year, might have 2 good years. It really would rely on him being able to be a better receiving back, because you can't really use him on those third downs that are like third and long and dump it off to your running back. He just doesn't really give you that ability. And if he can become a little bit better of a pass or catcher of the ball, he would be a fairly good running back.
He would be, but I'm also looking at their offensive line, and it's a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah,
so,
but if you are more of a power back, you should be able to get a few yards, even if your offensive line isn't great.
Yeah. Someone I have for the Steelers is Devin Bush Jr.
Devin Bush? Really?
Yeah.
I disagree with that one wholeheartedly.
So
he is a good linebacker.
His base salary is going to be $10.7 million this year. And let's take a look at his stats for last year.
57 solo tackles, 27 stops. He had 3 missed tackles. He allowed a pass rating of 110. He had 27 pass rushing snaps, 329 coverage snaps, 303 run defense snaps. He's didn't play great, but I mean, he's not horrible. I will say that.
He's not horrible, but what I see is, they had, what's his name, as their linebacker coach?
Brian Shazier?
No, Brian Flores.
Oh.
And so he's one of the greatest linebacking coaches in history. And you look at from his rookie season, Devin Bush Jr. going from almost 80 solo tackles down to 50?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm actually looking at his stats over the years, and grading wise, he hasn't really improved. He's just been a very flatline player.
I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he just hasn't inclined, and they're paying him almost $11 million this season. I don't think he's an $11 million linebacker.
Yeah, but that's just because he got drafted in the first round. Once his contract's up, which I highly doubt they're going to probably do the 5th-year option on him, he'll hit free agency, and he'll be able to see a more true value for him. Because he's probably more of like a $7 to $8 million linebacker.
I mean, honestly, if I were offering him a 1-year deal, I would offer him 7.5. But if you're gonna give him a multi-year deal, I'd try to keep it to 3 years for 18.
Yeah, and that if I would have to see a lot of improvement from him in order for me to want to give him more. Because he's a good tackler, but he struggles in coverage, and he's a much better pass rusher than he is a coverage linebacker as of right now. But he doesn't really get the opportunity in Pittsburgh to rush because, you have T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward, you have Alex Highsmith. So he just doesn't get an opportunity to rush, but with the little rushing opportunities he had, he did have a fairly good grade and made a little bit of an impact on there.
He definitely makes an impact, and he suits the Steelers in their model. And who knows? Maybe Cameron Hayward's getting older. T.J. Watt's been in the league a while now, and Alex Highsmith, he's good, but he's young. I'm kind of split on whether or not they should drop Devin Bush Jr.
Like I said, let him ride out his contract, and then you'll see from there is what I would do personally. But, I'm not a GM. I don't know anything.
You know who they really need to cut, though?
Who?
William Jackson.
The corner?
Yeah.
His name popped up for me and in my mind, and I looked at some of the stuff, and he would be a good option. But, I didn't want to hit you with 7 different guys.
Well, yeah, the Steelers got a lot. His defensive grade was under 50, and they're paying him 2.5 as a bonus. This is a roster bonus this year. Holy crap! How much is he getting paid this year? I can't even see. I'm looking for that right now.
It's $3.8 million is what I have.
His base salary that I have pulled up here is $9.25 for 2023.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's 31 years old, under 50 on his defensive rating, and they're paying him almost $10 million. Yeah, cut that dude. Sorry, Devin Bush, for hating on you, but yeah, cut that dude.
Yeah, there's so many more players that you could cut while still keeping your young talent.
Yeah. And I mean, like we said, Devin Bush Jr. still on his rookie contract. They probably won't give him that 5th-year option. Whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that brings us to our final team.
Yeah, that should be bringing us to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yes. So who do you have cutting immediately?
So I'm kind of stuck in between all this. I don't know if I want to follow with what everybody's kind of saying and that they should release Joe Mixon, as he was productive, but you saw during their playoff run, Joe Mixon played a much smaller role than you would expect out of a starting caliber running back, essentially. But
Yep.
that offensive line at the same time, I feel like there's somebody who has to go there. Maybe it's Lael Collins. Maybe it's Jonah Williams. Because I should say Jonah Williams hasn't played up to expectations.
Yeah,
But
that's who I
Lael
have.
Collins has been doing it.
So that's who I have. I have Jonah Williams getting cut. They really need to improve in that tackle position, especially for a team that has 6 different tackles. You gotta tighten that up a little bit. And from how Jonah Williams is making a ridiculous amount of money, I'm pretty sure. Not ridiculous, but still, he's making like $4 million. What do they have him for 2023?
Like I said, Jonah Williams hasn't panned out since being drafted from Alabama. There's much better tackle prospects this year that could fall to Cincinnati in the 20, I think they're 27th, 29, somewhere in there. There's tackles that could fall to them. It just depends on who they value. Because you could have the tackle out of Oklahoma or the tackle out of Tennessee, depending on who you like. Or if they really like somebody who they feel that's going to really elevate their team, they can always move up for a Broderick Jones or a Paris Johnson.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing with Jonah Williams. He's guaranteed 12.6 mil this year.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and he's ranked 62nd out of 81 tackles in the league.
62nd.
So,
That's
yeah.
That's a good number.
Oh yeah, that's a great number. Especially what's the average salary for a tackle in the league? I'm looking that up.
It's probably like, I would probably go in like the 10 to 15 mil. Tackles are very what you say needed in the league,
Yeah.
so they get paid a boohoo amount of money. Oh, Jonah Williams, there he is. Finally saw him.
I mean, yeah. Some like Trent Williams is like average like 223 mil a year.
Yeah, but he's a dominant tackle. Jonah Williams is very subpar. I mean, I'm looking at some of his games where, I mean, he had a 28 pass blocking grade, a 27, a 32 against teams that don't have an elite pass rush. Like against New Orleans, he had 27.3 pass blocking grade. Against Cleveland, his best game was a 32.2 pass blocking grade. And these are teams that have okay pass rushes, but they're not known for it. And he struggled.
Yeah, well, Jonah Williams, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, Jonah Williams has to go up against freaking Myles Garrett. And Myles Garrett literally is out for blood every time he plays Joe Burrow. I'm pretty sure Myles Garrett wants to actually knock his head off.
But then, if you look at the New Orleans game, who is he going up against? Marcus Davenport? Passing
yeah.
There's no reason you should have a 27.3 pass blocking grade. As good as I say the Saints defense kinda is, we don't have an elite pass rush where you should struggle like that. Or look at his run blocking grade. Against Dallas, it was a 38. The Jets, it's a 42. Carolina is a 41. He shouldn't be struggling for being a first round pick, making $12 million a year. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for what they're paying him, it's not paying off for them. And I just think, like I said, Jonah Williams was the obvious choice. Everyone is saying Joe Mixon, and I don't disagree. He fell off incredibly hard. But, yeah, I think Jonah Williams is a great pick.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to go with him as much as I really feel like it, but like a Jonah Williams might be another option to look at, or really there's nowhere else I would really want to take away, because I mean they're a good team overall.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all I got for on my end. You got anything else?
I don't really think so. But
All right. Oh, what?
I do have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
So, since our last episode had technical difficulties, I'm going to hit you with, what's your favorite game time meal?
Game time meal?
Yeah,
Ooh.
like you're sitting down, about to watch some football. What are you eating?
Buffalo chicken dip. I don't care. No, it's not meal, but it's a meal for me. I will eat the crap out of that, and I will be full. So, what about you, man? What's your favorite game time meal, man?
You're really putting me in a tough position, because I want to say buffalo chicken dip, because man, I will chow down on that. But I might even just be like, give me a pizza, let me eat, and we'll have some good time.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I've told you this, but at my wedding, we're only having pizza, wings, and beer. That's all. That's the only thing that'll be served at my wedding, I swear.
Can I get some buffalo chicken dip, or do I have to sneak that in?
I'll have a little dish in the back for us for like
All right.
afterwards.
All right, then we're all set. We're ready to go then.
Dude, if I get married, because I highly doubt I ever will, if I do get married, I want to get married at a Browns game. Like, not in the stadium. No, like out with all the tailgaters.
That's such like a frat boy type of thing. Be like, yeah, bro, I want to get married in the tailgate, bro.
Okay, I'm a diehard Browns fan. I'm sure you would love to go tailgate with the Saints fans. Come on, like that would be lit.
I have. They're fun. I tailgated with the Saints fan on Thursday night in Charlotte when the Saints were good. That was a fun time.
Oh, that sounds lit.
It was, bro. And I gotta even the Thursday night football crew from NFL Network, bro. I gotta be on camera there because they had like the camera guy run through the fans. I was just up front being like, "Let's go!"
I can just imagine you just being like, "Oh, Drew Brees, I love you."
Yeah. This is like
Drew Brees.
14-year-old me, bro. 14-year-old me. Just like in the Saints jersey, hyped up, arguing with like 50-year-old men about the best linebackers of all time.
Absolutely. See, remember when we were in class and we would sit there and argue with our math teacher about like the best NFL players?
Yeah, that idiot didn't know nothing but math.
Nothing but math. He couldn't even do the numbers on the Panthers squad.
Or the time we Netflix and chilled with his dog.
Oh, God, no. Oh, what was his name again?
I could not tell you.
He was the coolest teacher we had, though, by far.
He was really cool, yeah. Or, I forget the kid's name, but he came in absolutely just...
Oh, Will.
Will. Yeah, just
Yes.
absolutely gone, schmacked.
No, he was tripping on acid.
Yeah, absolutely schmacked. He was gone. That man...
Oh, yeah. But that's all we have for you guys today. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys got to hear a little bit about our crazy times in high school. If you guys do want to check something out, I actually have, I think, was it Mr. Herp? I can't remember, because I actually recorded a podcast with him.
You did, yeah. You did. I forgot.
So
about
I
that
need to...
one.
I need to dig that out of the archives and get that out to you guys. So that's a good way for you guys to go ahead, sign up for the Patreon. We post tons of extra content over there. Nate has a full first round mock draft over there, so check it out. If you guys want to find more of our content, you guys can find us on our website at ddoubledownnetwork.com. If you guys do listen to the movie podcast, The Weekly Double Down, that is now out on Spotify, so go check it out, y'all. With that being said, I'm Cody.
I'm Nate. Sorry for the weird pause. Love you guys.
Love you too. All right, and we will see you guys on Sunday.